guess my question, are you familiar with the proposal?
I have not looked at your proposal in that.
The proposal is to allow whoever wants to request from the 911 center, whichever, whether it's the ambulance authority or whether it's the DCEMS. And John pointed out that that we should have a default, and if the EMS is requested and they do not respond within 3 minutes, then the ambulance authority will be dispatched. But that's only in the case where the EMS is requested. If you don't request the EMS, or if you request the ambulance authority, you're going to get the ambulance authority.
Yes. And my thought to that would be, they're going to page the EMS and they're not going to be there. The ambulance authority is going to start responding. And then when somebody comes from their house into the EMS to take that call, then there's going to be a fight over who's going to take the call. That would be my thought. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but that would be my thought.
I don't know that there's a difficulty there.
So then, can I ask a question and a follow-up to this?
Not so everybody else has a chance to talk, if you don't. Would you stand and tell your name, please?
Kim Holland. Is this something that will just be in place, the requesting, or has it been in place? When you
No.
call?
It's not been in place.
Because I know when my husband had a heart attack, I begged for the ambulance authority and didn't. So this will be something new.
Right now, the way it is the ambulance authority automatically gets called for every EMS call that comes into the 911 center. That's the way it is currently. And John could go over and tell us a little more about actually the proposal, how it reads. But the proposal is that if, I'll let you
Well, basically, of course, we've got to iron it out tonight, but basically what will happen is if you call and you don't request anybody, you get the ambulance. If you call and you request Dodd County Emergency Squad, then we'll tone them. They have 3 minutes to get out the door. If they don't get out the door in 3 minutes, then we tone the ambulance authority and Dr. Newman, who does our E&D program, has it set up to where if it's a medic call, then we have to send a medic. Now, if I've got a medic, it's all their call. If it's a medic call and they don't have a medic, which we're talking about tonight, then we would alert the closest medic, which would be the ambulance. Well, the ambulance authority, I don't want to get the closest because the closest isn't always true. When you get to the Ritchie County line, there's some issues there. So that's the basic proposal. Now we'll work out the details on it, but that's what we talked about.
And that was what was discussed and approved by the Dodd County Commission.
3 minutes, 6 minutes.
Right.
And that's on both sides, that's us and them. If we
Yes,
don't
because
get
we basically modeled off of your
So-
mutual aid agreement with you guys, and that was a 3 minute thing.
Right.
Now, once they get out the door, we're saying, they're going to fight over the call. That's something they need to work out, and you need to tell us how it works. But
Well, if the EMS is requested and they get out the door within the 3 minutes,
it's theirs. As long as they have a medic, even if it's a medic call,
Right.
and they have a
I understand.
medic, then they're good. But yeah. So I'm talking about once you do the second tone and you get
right.
60, and then when they both hit the door, then that's something they'll have to work out.
And our guys won't fight. We
Mike
work
and Ranie.
together, our crews work with each other. There's not gonna be no fight amongst each other on the call. I mean, we don't wanna have that. I don't think Mike will put up with it, and I know I won't put up with it, so there won't be no fighting. As far as who takes the call, I think you and I had talked about if they happen to get out the door at the same time, our second alert, you got, well, let's back up. You tune them out, and they don't get out the door in 3 minutes, so you tune us out. When we start out the door, they also start out the door because their truck they got a crew available. So now both trucks are coming out. If it's an ALS call, they have a paramedic, they can go ahead and roll it since they're coming out at the same time. If it's not, then our truck will go with them, and then we'll go with there as far as that goes. I mean, that's what we talked about,
Right.
but I haven't got a chance to talk to Mike.
Yeah, that's something we need to work out tonight. So we'll know exactly how it's going to work.
Right.
Anybody else have a comment?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
I'm Jeff Fox, Ritchie County Ambulance Authority Director. My question is, will this apply, this policy as an agency policy, will this affect Ritchie County as well? Because I can't see you having a separate policy for one. This is one agency. I can't see you having, customized policies. I mean, these people have enough to do as it is. And if that's the case, they've already we've had the occasion where Dodd County Emergency Squad Incorporated has received calls from residents within this county. And if that patient decides that's who they want, I don't have an issue with that. The problem that we've had in the past is once they come into county, there's been occasions where they don't have the ALS trained people they need, and then they have to request us for mutual aid. And that depletes Ritchie County, taxpayer-paid Ritchie County resources from Ritchie County. And that is we've since then had to change our mutual aid policy with Dodd County EMS, or Dodd County Emergency Squad Incorporated. We felt it was only fair if you're going to deplete our services that you pay us for that. And we have renewed that policy to reflect that. But I'm just wondering, is this going to be a agency policy, or is this going to be Dodd County specific only? And that would be my question.
I have to iron out all the details before this thing's done to find out exactly that answer, Jeff.
Okay. Well, that was just a concern. I wanted to express that.
Anybody else? Okay. You have something else you want to add?
Go ahead. Tammy did raise her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, you had yours up a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
You
but
can
they're
go.
going to take mine after everyone else has spoken.
Yes.
Okay, my name's Tammy Beamer. I'm from Doddridge County. This requesting our service, our care provider, is allowed in all medical instances besides this one. If you go to the hospital, you get to choose the doctor. If the doctor comes in and you don't want him, say, no, I don't want him. And that's pretty well guaranteed. That's our right. And it's not about DCAA. It's not about Ritchie County. What this comes down to is my right as a citizen to say, hey, I'd like to have such and such to respond to my home. That's who I would like to have. And from my understanding and from what you all just said, it was up to the Doddridge County Commission to make this decision, and they did it the past meeting. Is that not right?
They voted at their meeting, yes. I understand.
Yeah, that's true.
So all that's left to do is work out smooth out the issues that has been brought up between the dispatching?
I suppose that, we'll have to see exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm Pam Swisher, and I'm with Dodd County Emergency Squad. A few months back, a year or so, we met down here, several of us, not all of us that's here, but several of us that is here. And we met here about the mutual aid agreement. And along with that was Marge Tucker and Dawn Spears. And it came down to the fact that it said, we was talking about some of the stuff and what we wanted and everything. In that meeting, it was stated that the county commissioners has the right to say what goes on. Now, at that time, Mr. Evans was still in, Shirley was still in, and they said they had spoke. This is what they wanted. Now, we've got 2 county commissioners that has suggested to let us, or let the people in the county call and request who they want. It is not about, what happened 20 years ago. It's not about anything with that. It is about that them giving us the right to request a certain service. And if a year ago or 2 years ago that it was whatever the county commissioner says, that's what we go by, I don't see a problem. If our county commissioners have spoke, they have spoke.
Can I say one more thing? My sister,
Wait. She's up first. Unless it's somebody else.
My name is Phyllis Posey. I'm a paramedic with Doddridge County EMS. I want you to make you all aware that as of yesterday, we have 2 crews, 24/7, and we do have another paramedic that's coming on, which will give us ALS coverage 24/7.
Awesome. Anybody else?
She answered my question.
Okay.
Yeah, because my question was going to, and listening to what Nellie had to say and what others had said, I know I heard Ralph say that they do have 24-hour coverage, but I was wondering how much of that 24 hours was ALS coverage. So Phyllis has pretty much answered that. Now, however, so is the 911 center going to receive a work schedule out of the emergency squad so that they, like his dispatchers, when they come on, are they going to be able to see and know for sure that Phyllis is working a 24-hour shift, or whoever the new medic is, that they're working a 24-hour shift, so that there's no time lapse if the dispatcher determines this is an ALS call, and you can see by the schedule that the emergency squad doesn't have an ALS crew, no time can be wasted, and the call can immediately go to the ALS crew, which would be us. I'm just wondering if that's a part of what you have to work
That's
out.
one of the suggestions we're working on.
Okay.
Those are our suggestion. Schedule, or give us a call, we haven't worked that out yet. And if not, then we'd have to wait for 3 minutes to see how they respond.
I just know that time delays when you have an
And that's-
emergency.
I gave it to Randy, and Amy was just giving my paper, and that was one of the requests we had, is either to give us a schedule or just call us at the beginning of the shift, and if you don't know, that, we'll take that out.
Our concern is for the citizens of the county, so.
Well, ours is too. And the right for someone to make a choice. Simple. And it doesn't affect anybody that still wants the ambulance authority to respond. It doesn't affect those people.
And both people have to realize too that just because you call for Doddridge County Emergency Squad, if they don't have a crew down at the door, then the ambulance authority's going to come. We can't set on a call. And I think some people that might upset, if they call for the squad and they want them, but something happens, they're tied up, then they're going to get the ambulance authority. And vice versa, you might call for the ambulance authority, if they're tied up, you're going to get the Doddridge County Emergency Squad. People have to realize that too. And if both their crews are out, so.
Randy Flinn, the director of the Doddridge County Authority. My only question would be, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Mike or Pam or anyone about it yet, but is the crews that's 24/7, are they going to be designated for emergency calls, or are they going to be utilized for transfers? Because I know when I spoke with Daryl, when we did the mutual aid agreement, there was concerns about, I can't let a truck set because if I got a transfer, I got to send them on the transfer because I'm going to lose the money. So my concern is the emergency truck or the 2 24-hour trucks, are you going to have the designated units for emergency calls only?
There will be units there for emergency calls only.
Awesome.
There will be units here for emergency calls for Doddridge County.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's great. Thank you.
And I'd like to say just a few words while I'm up too, okay? Several years ago, I've been, this,
Daryl, after everybody knows, we couldn't say your name, please.
Mike Hamilton. Mike Hamilton, I'm sorry. Several years ago, my parent and myself was in with the Doddridge County Emergency Squad, and we put in more hours probably than a lot of people. I've worked many hours on the back on a truck with Jeff. And then it came up to a time when the squad was in trouble. One of the commissioners that has departed us now come to the squad and says, Mike, can you straighten this mess out? And I said, yes. It took me 2 terms, but we straightened up the personnel, we straightened up the money problems, and we was back on the right course. 4 or 5 years later, they had the same problem again. And again, they voted me in. And I told them, no more after this. So since then, I've retired. And where am I at? I'm the head of the Doddridge County Emergency Squad. That's because I love this county. I love the county that I serve. And I'm here to tell you, we're going to have a crew on there 24/7. They'll be right there for the people of this county. And we will soon have 24-hour coverage for the paramedics, as Phyllis says. I'm here for patient care and patient care only. And I'll be one of the first to tell you, if a call comes down and we can't handle it, I'm going to instruct my dispatcher or a crew chief that's there to automatically have them to tone 60 out. Because that's no more than fair. And you're playing with people's lives. And that's not funny, I'll tell you. I've come real close a couple times with people's lives. And, it's not funny. I've had even tears in my eyes, especially over little kids and stuff. But I'm here to tell you, we're going to do our doggonedest to keep up with the things that's set forth before us. I look forward to working with John. And me and Randy, I'm sure, will get together and see if we can iron out some of these problems that we've got here between. So we're going to, work together, I hope. And that's my goal. I want to move forward. I don't want to move backwards. I'm on the forward march. And I'm on a new mission right now. We're going to make, to me, Doddridge County is number 1. And, I'm not going to say that I've had different newspaper people come to me and want me to say stuff that's happened in the past and stuff like that. I don't look in the past, and I won't say nothing about the past. I'm looking forward to serving here in the nowadays and moving forward.
You have something to say?
Yes, I didn't tell you when I spoke the first time, but just to clarify that not everything that happened happened in the past. When I had the first seizure, my sister was actually on the phone with 911, and she pulled into, we're stationed to Company 5, and she ran in to get help, and there was no one there. And Company 60 actually came and got me out of the parking lot and that. So, it's not that I was going all the way back. I'm just saying that, we've had this kind of incidents, and I'm very proud of you. If you're getting the 24/7, I think that's great, because, you can never have too much help. And, with us living so far from the hospital, it's critical. And I could be a vegetable or I could be dead.
If we've got a problem in that county, or you as a patient got a problem, call me.
Yeah.
Definitely call me and let me know. I'll find out what in the world's going on and I'll get back with you.
All
I'm
right,
sure Randy will too.
one more comment and then we'll move on, guys, okay?
My name is Ranie Hayes, and some of you know me. And some of you probably even prayed for my husband, Dalen Hayes. Dalen had his first heart attack in 2001. He had stents put in. 2002, he had his first open heart surgery at Ruby Memorial. He had stents. 2008, he had his second open heart surgery at Cleveland Clinic. 2011, he had another stent put in up at UHC. January last year, 2012, as a taxpayer, I'm all about saving money, and Butch is my friend. So I called, and I hope these things are ironed out, because I don't, Tammy, you can relate to this with your husband having heart trouble. I called the ambulance, the Doddridge County EMS, no answer. Thinking I dialed the wrong number, I hung up and I called again. Ring, no answer. I didn't have time to fool with it. I thought Dalen was having another heart attack. He's had 4, I didn't want him to have 5. I called 911. Later, I talked to Butch, and he said, well, maybe he was home feeding these dogs. Well, that's not acceptable when you think your husband's having a heart attack. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was very upset. Well, come to find out, the person that was taking the calls that day, they was working on an ambulance, so they was back in the garage there, didn't take the cordless phone with them. I was very upset. It took me a long time to calm down. That's why I wanted to come to this meeting tonight, to make sure that when I call 911, I get a paramedic. I don't have time to wait for the guy to get back home, or the guy to hear the phone ringing at the Doddridge County Emergency Squad. And yes, they've been there for Dalen many a times, and I thank them, and they're volunteers. Come on. But, if you're going to having two in the county, they both need to be run right, though. Thank you.
All right, has there been an advisory board meeting since then?
Yeah, we had one. I think Pat's gonna try to get some more people to come. One of you guys are supposed to visit.
Probably
I
me.
think it is.
Probably me.
Anybody know anything under old business we need to bring up?
The phone bill thing is in the budget, though. I actually had a meeting in Charleston, and I went to talk to the PSC guy and the lady from Frontier. I made an offer of $5,000 on that, instead of 2440. And they're actually looking at it, and she's gonna get back with me. I got the thing from the PSC guy a little bit ago, and we might fall in that 90-day thing, but, so we're still negotiating. She did finally admit, though, that they actually went back and backfilled some circuits. So that's
30 customers.
yeah, so
30 customers.
so they actually did do that. So once they did that, that kind of opens up the door, the 90-day or 6-month thing. So we're still in negotiation on that. That's only their business.
We know this. They may not admit it, but we know this.
Oh, that's what I told them. I'm not stupid. So yeah, we're still in negotiation.
All right, I guess we're opening up to talk about this agreement, Doddridge County's request for the change. I know you guys have talked about it, and I know we had something wrote up.
I wrote a little thing up there and gave to Randy, and I took it to Mike, and I think you've seen it. That's just some of the things that I want to, kind of iron out on it.
So what was exactly?
Well, basically, the thing is with the 3 to 6, just like you guys did at the commission meeting. Now, here's one thing that I think, and of course, you guys have the final say because you're the board, but I think you can call emergency squad for yourself, your immediate family, or you can call a hand store. I don't think you can call them for a third person. Say if you have a wreck in front of your house, I don't think you can make a decision who that person gets for. And my thing, I say immediate family, and I'm not immediate family, somebody's at your house, but being in Doddridge County, you can have friends, and they don't want the same ambulance service you want, so you should at least ask them, does that make sense to you guys, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you can call for a third person, I don't think you, just because you want this particular service.
It makes sense to a certain extent. What if the person's not capable of answering?
Well, see, then I think it falls back to the default. But we're not going to interrogate the people.
No.
And that's not our job. We're going to ask, we're going to not ask anything, because we don't want to do that, because we don't want to put in a position to say, well, which one would you recommend? We're not in the business of recommending services.
No, we're not asking you to do that.
There. So we're not going to interrogate them, but just a food for thought, I don't think you can call for, third person. But, and then the ALS thing, that's our EMD program. I gave a copy to you and should have gave it to Mike. And that's nothing we made up here. That's Dr. Newman and Dr. Caton. And that originally came from Dr. Caton because Wood County had the EMD program first. It comes out of Florida. And then they both got together and we had to work to get together to make sure that both medical directors agreed on it, which took a while. So we'd like that to stay in place. And if the squad could give us a schedule or at least call us that day and tell us what, if you got a medic or whatever, that'll save at least the first 3 minutes, because then we'll know that, and if they mark up as a medic, that's telling us you physically have a medic on the truck. Yeah, if you're a medic such and such, you physically have, not one's coming, you've got him there, or her. And the mutual aid is saying, and one other thing, once we dispatch a unit, if you the AM story, the squad, if you call back in, we're not going to change who we've dispatched. I mean, the initial dispatch is who you're going to get. And point on Jeff's thing, and that's probably for the Ritchie County Commissioners, I don't think they can call for Doddridge County Emergency Squad if they live in Ritchie County, request, but that's up to you guys. That's an issue you guys have to.
Yeah, that's not,
Well, I mean, you're taking money out of your county agency. But I mean, that's something, but that's the only thing that I had right off the bat. Did you guys have something you want to add on it, or?
Pretty much, I talked to Mike, gave him that paper, we discussed it all, and I gave you the procedures on dispatching. But
Yeah.
we didn't really
Like
talk.
I say, we didn't make that, it's Dr. Newman and Dr. Kate, and then it comes out of that Florida, so. And if you guys want that changed, something you don't like, if you can talk to Dr. Newman and Dr. Kate and have it changed, that's great with me. It took me several months to get a degree on that, so.
And I think we could solve the problem, you know, who's on duty is, we can just do like the old fire department used to do when our crew starts at 7, another crew starts at 8, so they mark on, they can say, this is unit 606 with the BLS crew for the day, we're here for 12 hours, we're here for 24.
That's
And
great.
then as they assign on and off, they can assign ALS or BLS to that truck, and dispatch will know, and it's on recording on what trucks. So, I mean, that's easy, that we're scheduling, whatever Mike would like to do, slot.
Whatever, we would, that's one thing we would like to have.
John, would this create confusion, doing it one way for Ritchie County and another way with your dispatchers, or?
Well, anything. That's why we're trying to keep it as simple as we can. That's why we want a default thing, and you actually have to ask. That makes it, you know.
But my question was, do you feel that this would create confusion?
It's possible. We're having a meeting tomorrow, and hopefully, whatever you guys decide, then we'll get it ironed out. And
It'd be two different policies at the
Right.
dispatcher and at the time of emergency or whatever.
Well, that's like in Ritchie County, if you send two crews, I mean, if you send two different things, it's actually the same AMS authority, it could be Station 42 and 43, but it's still the same one. So, but if we keep it simple to where you have to ask, you know, and then we have our, 3-minute thing, I think it's workable.
But
I hope I have enough wisdom to remember to ask.
You don't have to ask. If you want the AMS authority, you don't have, that's why it's default. If you want the squad, you have to ask. So you're going to default to the AMS authority, the way we got talked about it. If you want the squad, then you have to physically ask. And even, like I say, you ask. If they don't get out the door, then you can get the AMS authority, and vice versa. And you could get, actually, Ritchie County. Depends on where they're at.
There's been times, their trucks have been out, and ours have been out because of a bad wreck, and there was nothing.
Route 18, I mean,
So,
that's,
yeah, I mean,
Ritchie County's been there several times.
That's what Mary was talking about the other night. She said, Martha, we have 2 capable agencies in the county. She said to handle how many people are here now. Because we are really populated more so than we've ever been. With the pipe people here, their families, the school is really overran. I mean, walk into the schools.
There's a lot of people. And then,
There
like I say,
is a
got
lot of
construction, so there's a lot of
people.
calls
There's a
for that.
lot of stuff
Related
going
to that.
on.
you can answer my question, John.
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll
We're the politicians.
Well, I guess you could do this too. You could say, well, let's try this for 6 months and see how it works. I mean, that's always an option too, to see if there is confusion or issue. We're going to send you an ambulance. Rest assured, we're going to send you an ambulance. Now, if we mess up and you don't get the right one, we're sorry, but we're going to get you an ambulance.
So in other words, you're going to the hospital one way or the other.
And we're only going to give the one 3 minutes to get out the door, and we're going to convert the other.
A lot of the folks here at Doddridge County, Sam and I are only 2 Ritchie County commissioners, and I'm Steve Warden, and I just came on office January 1st of this year, and I'm Ritchie County's new old commissioner because I was on the Ritchie County Commission 2000-2006. Retired in 2006, and I was done commissioning until January 1st, I guess. And,
So put yourself in punishment again.
yeah,
Put me on a cookie?
Sam, I had to be with Sam. And so I don't know a lot of the history. So I'm sort of in a void of what's going on in Ritchie County. I mean, Doddridge County versus Ritchie County. When I was on the commission the first time, Sam and I were on the Ritchie County Ambulance Authority Commission. And we were instrumental in converting and Sam, jump in anytime to correct me. We had a paid/volunteer staff and state regulations that were coming down. Liability that was coming down. The need for training was coming down. Is when we made the decision to create an ambulance authority. And back then, there were two things that I was the most proud of during the commission on those 6 years. One, it was the conversion of our ambulance services from a paid volunteer to an all-paid service. And I'll go up against any ambulance service in the state here on that. We've got an director, we've got good training, it's a pride and joy of my first 6 years. The second thing that I was so much proud of was this center right here. But this center wasn't right here, it was up at the state police barracks. And Sam and I are on that board too, along with Commissioner Louis Knight and Oriash, yeah. And John was with us from the get-go. I don't know if anybody, soon after.
I'm just putting.
But we were in a little closet behind the state police building on that. And
Little too.
it was little on that. And I always called our 911 center the biggest little 911 center in the state. Here again, they're experts, they're well-trained, they're medically trained. And I know since I left in 2006 to 2012, the operation is way more complex. The training is so much better. The medical training that they've undergone and everything like that. So, and I see two split down the middle here. We've got a group here and a group here. And there's a lot of resources in both groups on that. And this 911 center wouldn't be here, and it wouldn't be as well trained, it wouldn't be as efficient if Doddridge County had a 911 center and Ritchie County had a 911 center. The only reason that you've got such a good facility is that we're working together. And there's no way that this building and these experts that are dispatching, the training, the expertise that John Hatfield has in just maintaining the equipment could never be done on an individual county. So the only reason this has been successful is because the two counties come together, money resources that come together, and you can use, this center, to me, I could always say, could dispatch for 6 counties because they're well trained and it can all be done on the computers, which I don't understand. So, not knowing the history of what has gone on in Doddridge County, I see two parties that need to get together, combine their resources, and then you'll have the top excellent, and the confusion with dispatching A or B or whatever. I ride a motorcycle through Doddridge County. I've ridden in a lot of counties, and you shouldn't have to wonder every time you cross a county line who's going to do your health services. When you've got two groups that are obviously well funded and well equipped, put them together and have one. Whatever that takes to put them together, you can see the benefits of working together in this building right here. And I don't know the history and I don't know what's going on, but I just see a lot of resources that are vying for whatever. And they've got it, coming together, it'd be a lot better. And it may even be a savings for the taxpayers. I don't know how the funding is for the two groups, where the money comes. But just look at this 911 center and see what you can accomplish by working together. So, that's Doddridge County, but I know what has happened in Ritchie County, and then working to form this center. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. All right.